ready for some football? Let's go. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Alright, week one is officially over. Now, tonight, let's do the results of my predictions of week one. Let's get right to the point. Lions versus Chiefs. Oh my goodness. I was wrong, and I was wrong about believing that Patrick Mahomes could still get it done without Travis Kelce. And the thing is that the defense was doing pretty solid for a while. Got a few stops, they kept Kansas City in the game. And the thing is, the Chiefs look good. They look good through the first half offensively, but it just wasn't sustainable because second half, Detroit made some adjustments, and we're not gonna just speed past the drops by Kadarius Toney, Sky Moore. There might have been a couple other receivers that I didn't mention that had some drops. Understand, Patrick Mahomes can't throw the ball and catch the ball at the same time. Alright, I don't care what anybody says. No quarterback in the NFL can throw the ball and catch the ball at the same time. And if they can, I want to see them. So, nonetheless, Patrick Mahomes will bounce back. Travis Kelce will be back. Chris Jones will be back because they agreed to a one-year deal. This loss against the Lions is an enigma. Kansas City should be able to bounce back and get back on, track next week. Bengals versus the Browns. Boy, oh boy. I got my pick right, but the score prediction was lopsided as hell. I predicted the Browns to win 37-34. I thought it was going to be a high-scoring, offensive shootout kind of game. And, oh boy, there was one, but just not this one. We will get to it later down the line when we get to it. But I thought that Bengals-Browns was going to be that game, but nah, this game was dominated in the trenches. It is official, ladies and gentlemen. All right, the Browns own Joe Burrow, and you can't tell me different. Nonetheless, I did get the pick right, but they won 24-3. So because it wasn't a shootout, and because the Browns won in a blowout, I decided to give it on the score prediction scale from 1 to 5. I'm giving it a 1. All right, so then after that, we got Texans versus Ravens. Another one that I was pretty wrong about. I predicted that the Ravens would win in a hard-fought battle, 26-21. And I thought that D'Amico Ryans and the Texans, I thought that this would be the new Texans and they're going to be competitive. They played better in week one last year. At least last year they got into a tie with the Colts. This time they just got absolutely manhandled. Literally got their manhood taken away from them. To most people, they aren't surprised, but I was pretty surprised. But the Ravens took care of business and won easily 25-9. Now, because I almost got the amount of points that they would score, because I got that correct, I decided to give it on the scale prediction. On the prediction scale, I gave it a 2. Up next, we have the Buccaneers versus Vikings. Oh, man. I knew that this was going to go two ways. Either Baker Mayfield was going to come out here and play like a little puppy. all right? Or we were going to get that dog Baker Mayfield out in this game. And I leaned more towards that we were going to get the little puppy Baker Mayfield in this game, and he was not going to do well. But he actually did. I'm not surprised that this happened, okay? I knew this was going to go two ways. Either Baker Mayfield was going to go out there and play like crap, or he was going to go out there and play well. He's been pretty inconsistent, at least for 1 week. Baker Mayfield went out there and played well, and he played well enough for the Bucs to win. Meanwhile, on the other side, for Minnesota, Minnesota, are you going to... I understand you're a pass-oriented team, but are you going to run the ball? Are you going to even try to run the ball? Alexander Mattison only had 34 yards rushing, but off of 11 carries. Like, bruh, if y'all would have even tried to see if you could establish the run, who knows? Maybe you would have done better instead of being so one-dimensional. But they lost, and I predicted the Vikings, of course, to win in a blowout, 31-10. But Tampa Bay came out with some comeback late game heroics, and won the game 20-17. All right, and then up next we have Panthers versus Falcons. I knew it was going to be ugly. I knew it was going to be. But I knew that the Falcons were probably going to pull it off. I predicted that the Falcons would win 24-14. Well, guess what? All I needed was the Panthers to score 4 more points. All right, so I was just 4 points off. I gave it on the score prediction scale, I gave it a 4 because I was close enough. A recap of the game: Bryce Young looked like a toddler out there playing. He just couldn't seem to see the throwing lanes. He couldn't see, he just wasn't playing too well. Albeit he did, score a touchdown. He threw one little check down to Bijan Robinson. Bijan Robinson made a pretty incredible play. But, other than that, he just didn't look good. Desmond Ridder just played the game manager role. They ran the ball. And Tyler Algier looked good. And overall, the Falcons just looked like a team that was just playing against a bad team. The Carolina Panthers. They were going up against a bad team. Let's see how y'all fare against, I guess, a real team in the Green Bay Packers. And I don't think y'all will be able to win that game. But for right now, for week 1, good job. You handled business like I expected you to, and you're 1-0 to start the year. For the Cardinals versus Commanders, I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't know what to expect out of you guys this season. It's not looking too bright right now because I predicted that this was going to be a blowout. I think anybody would have expected that this should have been a blowout. But, the Commanders far underachieved and played under expectations and went out there and barely beat a Arizona Cardinals team without Kyler Murray, of course. Maybe if you were playing Kyler Murray, I guess that this would have been, accepting. But, the fact that you beat the Cardinals by 4 points against a Joshua Dobbs-led football team. I guess Sam Howell looked okay. Your defense, it just should have been better, okay? All right, it should have been better. Washington left points out there on the board. Washington gave up points out there on the board. It shouldn't have gone the way it did. I did get the Commanders one right, but I did give it on the score prediction scale a 1. Up next, we have the Jaguars versus the Colts. Now, this game definitely lived up to my expectations. Maybe not other people who expected the Jaguars to completely blow the Colts out, but I'm one of the very few that had faith in Anthony Richardson that he was going to go out there and ball out. So, and for the most part, I think I hit the nail right on the head. He did go out there and ball out and play pretty well. Obviously, other than the fourth quarter interception, that really opened the door for Jacksonville, which, because then Travis Etienne scored a rushing touchdown that basically put the game away. At the same time, I do have to talk about Shane Steichen. Shane Steichen, all right. Why in the world would you go for it on 4th and goal instead of just kicking the field goal? If you score the touchdown, you have to attempt an onside kick anyway. And let's face it, if you had $2,000 and you were gonna bet on it on two scenarios in this Jaguars Colts game, and you had a choice to bet on the Colts going for it on 4th and goal and scoring a touchdown and then doing an onside kick, or them kicking a point blank field goal from inside the 5 and doing an onside kick, which one are you betting your money on? Which one are you betting two bands on? Which one? All right, and I fully expect everybody to bet their 2,000 on them kicking the field goal from inside the 5, point blank range. All right, because there's no way possible that he misses that field goal. Otherwise, if he does, I would have freaking laughed my tail off. But how can you expect to put all your cards into going for it on 4th down and goal and trying to score a touchdown when you still are going to have to kick an onside kick, all right, anyway? So, yes, I understand the fact that you're trying to make it a 3-point game. But at the same time, just take the field goal. All right, you have a better chance of winning just kicking the field goal, because just think about this. You kick the field goal, right? All right, and I'll try to make this short and sweet. You kick the field goal, that's probably a guarantee that you make the field goal, and then you do the onside kick. But the going forward on 4th and goal trying to score a touchdown is not a guarantee. Because if you don't get it, it's game over. You kick the field goal, you still have a chance by attempting an onside kick. I just don't understand the logic there by Shane Steichen. I did get the Jaguars winning this game correct. I did expect that, but I did also expect the Colts to play a whole lot better than the other people were probably expecting. So, and I was right. I was also right about the two teams combining for 52 points. It wasn't quite 28-24, but it was 31-21. And that's kind of close, kind of. It was just a field goal off for each team. So I decided to give it a 4 on the score prediction scale. Steelers. I just don't... That preseason is now starting to look like it was fraudulent. All right, it was fraudulent. They were frauds. Man. I thought the way Kenny Pickett looked in the preseason, all right, yes, it's preseason, but I thought he just looked better at going through his progressions. Next time, I'm just going to accept the fact that it is preseason. All right, because boy, did he look bad out there on Sunday. My God, he looked bad. But you want to know what looked worse than Kenny Pickett? Not their offensive line. That was bad too, though. Their defense, who I had so much promise in. With TJ Watt, I fully expected their defense to look way better than they did last year. Way better. And they didn't. They gave up almost 400 yards of total offense. They just did not look good whatsoever. They didn't look good against the pass. They didn't look good against the run, especially. Christian McCaffrey had 22 carries for $152. I mean, it was just bad all around. All right. They did not look good anywhere except for that final drive before the end of the half. And I hope we can get that Kenny Pickett on Monday Night Football. All right. I sure as hell hope. All right. Because if we can get that Kenny Pickett on that last drive before the end of the first half of that game against the Niners on Sunday, then it will make the Steelers just that much better. All right. As far as their defense, I don't know what to tell you about your defense on where y'all had any type of potential at. There was not any part of the Steelers on Sunday that made me think on defense that made me think, okay, if they can just do that, then I guess TJ Watt had a good game. He had 3 sacks, but what about the rest of the team? The rest of the team didn't do anything. All right? I guess he's your only flashing point, but one guy doesn't make a team. Not even one side of the ball. All right? They need everybody to freaking commit and everybody to go out there and just freaking play, man. All right? And not whatever the hell that was on Sunday. All right? That was just bad. So, final recap. All right? Of that game. By the way, Brock Purdy, I wasn't sold on him at first, but now I am. He's the real deal. All right, he is. I ain't gonna lie to you. He's the real deal. All right, Steelers' only flashpoint was that final drive before the end of the half. If Kenny Pickett can play like that as far as his decision making and reads, if he can play like that, consistently overall all year long, then you might have something. But as far as that defense, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. Up next, Titans versus Saints. This was the game that I forgot to talk about in my week 1 predictions, but I predicted that I thought the Saints were going to have a nice, relaxing 28-7 blowout victory. I thought the Titans didn't stand a chance in this game. And it was not the case. All right. It was an ugly, low-scoring affair. 16-15 Saints, so good for them. I will say, however, Saints, you should be excited because Derek Carr had a good game. I can't say a great game, but he had a good game. So the future is bright there, all right, for this season for y'all as far as Derek Carr. He looked good. And that is a pretty good defense that he was going up against. He threw for over 300 yards. Like I said, that's some optimism to look forward to this year. Your defense, always really good. All you need to do is be able to put it all together and have a great offensive performance and not it just being Derek Carr, and the defense just keep playing the way you're playing. So Saints, I gave them as far as my score on the score prediction scale, I gave it a 2. I did give it a 2 because the defense, they did do good. All right, so I gave it a 2, I guess. I didn't want to give it a 1. Raiders versus Broncos. Now, gee whiz, let's get to the all 5 later slate games that somehow, some freaking way, I got all 5 of them wrong. Raiders versus Broncos. Broncos, I fully have no faith in you, really. I thought Sean Payton could have been able to do something to turn you guys around, but he just can't. All right, that offensive line still looks suspect. Russell Wilson had no weapons to throw to. He actually didn't do bad, but just didn't have anybody really to depend on. So, for the Broncos, I just can't trust you guys until further notice. Make me believe again. Make me believe again, okay? Because right now, I just don't. I literally don't. So, I have no faith in you until further notice. I don't. And then as far as the Raiders, well, Jimmy Garoppolo had a good game. I guess Jimmy Garoppolo is just a winner no matter where he goes. At least for right now, the Raiders are a winning team. So that's basically the recap that I have of that game. Eagles, Patriots. My God. The Eagles started off hot in this game. And they went up 16-0. And I was just like, oh my gosh, bro. Why? I hate this team so much. Alright, I literally freaking hate them. But then the Patriots came back. And they made it a 2-point game at the end of the first half. And I'm like, Patriots got this. And then they proceeded for about maybe 3, maybe 4 drives. In the second half, they just couldn't seem... They were moving the ball a tad bit, but just couldn't seem to get it done. Meanwhile, the Eagles on their drives in the second half, it was field goal, field goal, field goal. They made it 25-14, and then the Patriots actually rallied to make it a 5-point game. Patriots caused a fumble on Jalen Hurts, and I was happy. I was jumping up and down. I was hype. All right, I'm like, yes. Yes, Patriots. Yes. And then, no. And I actually went to go take a... All of a sudden, I come back, and it's 3rd and 12. And then Mac Jones throws a pass, and it was incomplete for Hunter Henry. And now it's 4th and 12. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. The Patriots caused another stop, this time a 3-and-out, and they actually had one last gasp. Mac Jones throws a perfect pass to the Patriots' intended receiver, but then Job or Phobe, who came in for the absence of James Bradbury, who had a concussion, he pushed the Patriots receiver, not allowing him to toe drag the sideline. And I just need to say, the NFL needs to bring back the force out rule. All right? Because he was going to drag his feet. But dude pushed him and didn't give him a chance. So, it is what it is, man. It was incomplete. Eagles win. And golly, man. Even when they play like crap, they still win. Anyway, that was the closest that I got to getting a pick right out of all of these. Rams, somehow, some way. Matthew Stafford went out there and actually played great. He had 2 100-yard receivers. One I've never even heard of. And then two, Tutu Atwell, who had over 100 yards. So he had 2 100-yard receivers, and then the running game was nowhere to be found. Cam Akers, 22 carries, 29 yards. It is what it is. Geno Smith didn't really push the ball down the field outside of a touchdown pass to DK Metcalf. His offensive line didn't protect him, and Geno Smith may just, at least for right now, might be looking like a one-year wonder. So, I think it's safe for right now to write him off again. Then Dolphins Chargers. This was by far the most entertaining game out of all the games in week 1. It was, well, let's see. Dolphins score a touchdown. Chargers score a touchdown. Dolphins kick a field goal. Chargers score a touchdown. Dolphins score a touchdown. They both each exchange field goals before the end of the half. And let's see. Second half, Chargers score a touchdown. Dolphins score a touchdown. Then Chargers score a touchdown. They each exchange field goals again. And then Chargers, well, I can't even blame your offense. I can't even blame your defense, because it's Tyreek Hill. If you want to blame anybody for this loss, Chargers, go blame Tyreek Hill. You can't contain him. You can't contain him. All right? And to anybody asking, is Tua and Tyreek Hill the most dangerous duo in the NFL right now? Yes! Because that dude right there fears you, Tyreek Hill. It don't matter who's his quarterback. He fears you. And as long as Tua can stay healthy, my God, this offense is going to be hard to stop as long as Tua can stay healthy. So I got it wrong. I thought that the two defenses were going to play a little bit better than they did. But both offenses just went crazy. This, by the way, was Kellen Moore's coaching debut. And by the way, the Chargers had 231 total rushing yards. Dolphins win 36-34. Packers versus Bears. I'm going to hold off on the Justin Fields slander for right now. It is week 1. He doesn't have any type of chemistry truly yet with his guys. And then Jordan Love went out there and he played well. He did great. He had a lot of yards after catch, but still 3 touchdown passes, including 2 to Romeo Doubs. Congrats to him. So that was my final one that I got wrong. Let's get to these final 2 masterpieces, especially the one I'm about to talk about right now. Cowboys versus Giants. Oh man, did I not give my Cowboys credit. I already speaked in depth about it, my oh my, did I not give us enough credit. I said we would win in a 35-14 blowout. We won 40-0, man. It was never a contest. Giants started off good with a pretty promising drive, and then, Wanye Thomas blocks a field goal. Blocks the field goal, and then Noah Aminganagani, picked it up and ran it for a touchdown. And basically from that point forward, the Giants lost this game. Turnovers upon turnovers. Daniel Jones doesn't have an offensive line, and Dak Prescott, as I predicted, was not going to put the ball in harm's way. If we can play like this all season long, we're at least going to the NFC Championship game. I'm calling it. If not, win the Super Bowl. All right. I gave that on the score prediction scale. I gave it a 3 because I did not give my team enough credit for how well that they were going to do out there. It was total freaking domination. And then let's talk about the Bills versus the Jets. Aaron Rodgers is out for the season with a torn Achilles. He was out after only his 4th snap of the game. And boy, you just hate to see these injuries happen, especially week 1, especially a team that had so much hype and so much promise and optimism. All offseason, all I was hearing about was the Jets and how much people were raving about the Jets. And I don't blame you. Before the freaking Aaron Rodgers injury, I picked the Jets to go to the Super Bowl, to coming out of the AFC. I'm going to have to reevaluate my pick now. All right. Do I think the Jets will make it to the playoffs? As long as Zach Wilson can take a back seat and play the game manager role quite like he did last night, then yes. But they're not going any further than probably the wild card round and get bounced out. I'm sorry. But I will say, what a freaking game. At least those final few minutes of the fourth quarter and on. What a freaking game. It was looking like a sleeper for so long. And then Josh Allen throws a pick. Zach Wilson engineers the team down the field. He throws a back shoulder pass to Garrett Wilson, which might have been the ugliest back shoulder I've ever seen. But Garrett Wilson bailed him out with an insane, beautiful grab. Josh Allen fumbles the ball on a bad snap. He picks it up and fumbles it again. So then the Jets just had to not F up, and they were going to get a field goal at least. And then the Bills get the ball. They kick a field goal before the end of regulation, where we saw a doink sighting, ladies and gentlemen. A doink. And nonetheless, it went into overtime. Bills win the coin toss. They go 3-0. They have to punt it to the Jets, and that was when it happened. Gibson, the punt returner for the Jets, ran it all the way back. I knew as soon as he cut to the left, I knew that it was going to be a big return. But then he keeps running, and I'm like, oh my God, 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 touchdown! Touchdown! A walk-off punt return for the Jets. They had nightmares and PTSD about that freaking, what was it, Mark Jones, or whatever his name is, who had that walk-off punt return last year. Marcus Jones. I know they had PTSD about that. And now you make up for it by beating Josh Allen and the Bills in overtime. Now the MRI comes out the next day that Aaron Rodgers is out for the season with a torn Achilles. It is by far the second, biggest tragedy to happen in New York on September 11th. Because it did go into overtime and the Jets did win, I gave it a 4 on the score prediction scale. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is my week 1 NFL predictions. Alright, let me know in the comments down below how you feel about them. And of course, tomorrow night is where I will put out my week 2 NFL predictions. And believe me, alright, I am far more confident this time, and I should be able to get a much better record this time around than I did this time. With that being said, like and subscribe. Alright, as always, subscribe is really important because you get notified each and every single new video that I post, man. And there's nothing better than being able to hit a notification bell and knowing that, every time they make a new video, you are expecting them to drop a banger, which is all we do here. So, nonetheless, that has been my time, ladies and gentlemen, and that is it. Peace!